What's up, the internet? This is Kyle.
This is Matt.
And this is our first WUTI podcast show thing.
Yes.
Don't have a name yet. There we go. So, yeah, it's going to play some games. I'm playing Far Cry 4.
And I'm playing some Trials Fusion, the newest DLC.
So, I can't remember what I was doing last time. I think I'm in some sort of mission. Yep, I'm in a propaganda mission. All right, this should be interesting.
All right, I should probably actually start this track. All right.
Let's see. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh.
So anyway, initially, what I wanted to talk to you today, Matt, what I wanted to talk to you about was, so it comes out that Neil Blomkamp is going to be doing the next Alien movie.
Yeah.
And
so
for people that don't know, that's the guy who did District 9 in Elysium.
Jesus Christ, I'm dying.
Whoop.
Yeah, so he was working on Chappie, but on his spare time and using his own money, he had hired some graphic designers and concept artists to work on some alien type stuff. Just kind of for fun, he claims. I'm sure there was probably more to it than that. But he ended up posting it on the internet, and everyone kind of freaked out about it and loved it. So it came out that Fox was actually okay with turning it into a movie.
All right. Which, if for those of you who don't know the pictures, there were some really cool ones of Ripley in a suit that looks like the space jockey suit, or something that looks like a xenomorph skin almost.
Yeah, I mean, and the cool thing is, since Sigourney Weaver was in Chappie, he was actually talking to her about it the whole time.
And then there was also shots of, how did I just forget the character's name? And the actor. Wow, damn. What's his name? He was the Corporal Hicks. There we go.
Yeah.
Of him all scarred up holding some sort of assault rifle. Yeah, that everything about this whole thing looked really cool. For those of you who haven't seen the artwork from it, we'll put a link probably to it. But so beforehand, you were really excited, Matt, especially about the movie Chappie. But then the other day, you mentioned something that you didn't seem quite as excited. What was up with that?
Well, there's been a whole sort of, once it was announced that Fox, oh Jesus, I suck at this map. Once they said they were actually going to try to go ahead with the movie, I started to see people that had been excited for Chappie, start to be oh, this guy, who does he think he is? He makes one good sci-fi movie, and then one mediocre one with Matt Damon, and here he is trying to take over everything. And that combined with, usually with movies, they get screened to critics about a week in advance, unless the movie's going to suck. You kind of know about that. But Chappie was a little bit different because they only screened it in the top, money-making markets. So a lot of critics in, Austin, who didn't get to see it, and some other smaller markets, really, really disliked the movie. So there was some concern over whether they were mad that they didn't get to see it for free like they usually do, or if it actually just sucks. And now it looks like it really is just the latter. It looks like it's just not very good. I'm gonna go try to see it here this next week for myself. But a lot of people are complaining about D'Antvord's performances in the movies. Apparently they're really awful. It's kind of universal praise for Sharlto Copley as Chappie, which is expected. He's always great. And everybody says it looks nice, but that it just is a narrative mess.
Oh.
Which is disappointing. The trailers have all been really good. I kind of had a feeling that D'Antvord were going to be awful in it, but he's making a South African movie, and they're a big thing in South Africa, so it made sense. But yeah,
I don't know. It's still one of those. The only reason why I'm still regardless of how Chappie ends up doing, if it just got my ass kicked. Okay. Regardless of how it actually turns out, I'm still excited for him doing an Alien movie just for one bit of information, which is the fact that it's making a sequel to Aliens.
Yeah, well, and he's since clarified a little bit that he's not ignoring 3 and Resurrection at all. Like, that wasn't his goal. He just said he liked the first 2 better, which everyone does, so that's nothing new. What the hell is happening? God, it's gone all Donkey Kong Jr.
Well, I was really hoping he was going to disregard those, and I know people out there are going to freak out that I just said that, but I mean, it's just it was not good. 3 with the dog alien was really fucking stupid.
What the fuck is happening?
Especially the slow motion Sigourney Weaver jumping backwards reverse swan diamond into molten steel.
I'm going to get in trouble for this. I think 3 is super underrated and is only kind of lambasted for its awful special effects. But I mean, David Fincher was super young and he hadn't ever done a movie like that, and nobody had done that effects-wise, and it kind of didn't work out. But there's some good ideas in it. But I think what Blomkamp's saying is he's going to do more of the how Bryan Singer did X-Men Days of Future Past. Not like completely erase the other ones, but like just use what he likes and screw the rest.
Just kind of glossing over the parts he didn't.
There's ghosts?
Oh,
oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I'm so confused.
I think I've royally fucked up my mission, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, and then 4, I don't know. It's one of those ones where I think about it, and there are parts of 4 I like.
What the hell? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The game's gone all 8-bit, and I just got shot to death by the ship from asteroids. I expect this out of user-created maps, not the official ones.
I mean, there are parts of 4 I like. Like, some of the things that I do remember from 4, like, I mean, I'll be honest, I maybe saw it like 3 times in my life, and it never left that much of an impression on me, other than Ron Perlman is in it. And the fact that I like Ron Perlman in it. And then after that, all I remember is that Winona Ryder's in it, and I hated her through the whole thing, and I don't remember why. I just remember her being in it. I remember being confused as all hell about Sigourney Weaver's character the entire time.
Yeah.
And I remember that the Xenomorphs were being trained, and a button and like all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Just the guy by the button, and then they killed one of each other and sprayed his blood everywhere, and then broke out.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be hard for him to like use bits and pieces but ignore the stuff he didn't like. I mean, there's plenty of room to go. But I'm actually, after being a bit nervous about it, I'm starting to get a bit more excited about the idea of him doing something in someone else's universe. Because to me, that's been his biggest problem so far. Barring District 9 being a masterpiece. I mean, Elysium looks gorgeous, but its narrative's all over the place. You can't hold it together for the whole movie. And I'm hearing that's what happens again with Chappie. It's such a mishmash of ideas and great visuals that just don't have anything to say at a certain point. So the idea of him going into an established universe with his visual sense, as long as he gets a good script behind it, I'm actually thinking that's probably his best fit. Because originally, I mean, that's how he came about. You know the story about Halo and that falling apart and turning into District 9.
Yep.
Which was based off of one of his own short stories. So at least there he was adapting something and not just kind of falling face first into some story he's not prepared for, like as apparently happened with Chappie. Which, again, I don't want to drag the movie through the mud because I haven't seen it. I could love it, so.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm fine with them making another Alien movie, especially if it's in the hands of somebody that I think could do something good with it. And I do think he could do something good with it. I mean, the way I see it, it can't get any worse than... Well, I mean, it could get worse than 4, but I don't think he's going to do that.
He'd have to really try.
Like, yeah, you would have to try.
Oh, God.
I mean, granted, there are some terrible Alien movies out there. Hence, Alien vs. Predator and Alien vs. Predator Requiem.
Yeah, if he's going to ignore anything, it's going to be those two.
I think everyone ignores those two.
Oh,
especially Requiem. God, Requiem was bad.
I know.
Also, I do want to point out something.
It, but
I just want to... one thing I don't understand. How is the one that is the shittier movie actually have way better special effects?
That's the thing. The guys that made Requiem were so excited about, like, being gorier again and being R-rated and all that stuff, and then like focused on that and forgot to make a movie.
No, they made a movie. They just thought for some reason audiences would like to hear
Jesus
like
Christ.
a maternity ward getting attacked by a pred alien. A girl getting cut in half and her guts falling out everywhere because apparently it turned into a Jason movie. Yeah, it's just it did not feel right at all. It wasn't good. The acting was bad. The visuals look good though. Still think the pred alien looks stupid as all hell, but you know that's.
Yeah, the effects are pretty good. I don't know if the visuals look good. I think as a movie it was kind of ugly. But again,
I'll rephrase that.
Seen District
Effects.
9, yeah, anyone who's seen District 9 is not worried about the visuals this time out, which is a step in the right direction. I mean, at least we're off to somewhat of a good start anyway, no matter what happens.
Especially if he does anything, and I mean anything off of what he's. Oh shit! Wildlife. Okay. You asshole. Yeah. Oh, and I'm out of bullets.
Oh,
yeah.
Just.
And I'm out of bullets
you
there too.
Shitting me.
Fuck.
So I made it.
All right, running to the water.
I didn't think I was going to. All right. Shit.
All right, there we go.
Goddamn elevator keeps murdering me. Son of a bitch.
What? Wait.
Oh,
Wait.
I get it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, what the fuck?
God damn it.
What's going on? What's attacking me?
Which mission are you on? I'm intrigued.
Holy shit! There's a fish. Oh fuck! Big
Demon
fish.
Which,
Yeah, demon fish.
Are you on a mission right now?
No, I just got done doing a propaganda mission, and I got attacked by some of those. I don't remember those little wolf things, and then it chased me into the water, and then I got attacked by a demon fish. I'm probably gonna get attacked by an eagle now, and I'm out of fucking ammo. And
have you done the drug warehouse mission yet?
no.
Okay.
The last mission, the last story mission I've done, mostly because this is the problem with the one downside to this game. At least it's a little bit more streamlined than these other games, but the one downside that I have to Far Cry 4 is it did the same thing to me that is where's the sound that Skyrim and Fallout did to me, which is here's your story missions and here are a bunch of side missions.
And you just got distracted.
And I end up doing side missions without realizing it. Granted, this is a little bit more like almost GTA style, where they do a little bit better job of like pointing you in the direction of where the story is and what you should do versus what you can do.
Yeah.
But then I also fall into the same trap I do with GTA, which is I say screw the story and I start doing random shit like getting on an ATV and jumping off of things or testing out my windsuit.
There are some great jokes in the loading screens for this new DLC.
Oh, good. I'll actually have to test. Try.
Schrodinger's cat faulted and also didn't fault, and it's just the average 13-year-old's not probably gonna get it, but that's all right. They've always been good about that. Son of a bitch, I suck at this game. The average 13-year-old would be better at me than this game, though, so it's a tie.
Yeah, and don't worry, they'll let you know.
Oh yeah, it's YouTube.
And then they'll also let you know of all the terrible words that go along with that about, and also how you should feel bad and how your sexual orientation comes into this and all that other stuff.
Kyle, we're not posting this on Tumblr.
Tumblr. I was just recently told that was still a thing. I honestly haven't logged into a Tumblr account for like 2 years. Actually, I take it back. I logged in once, and it was because I posted that video that I did of the Pac-Man ghost video.
Oh, the ghost? Yeah,
I posted that on... Yep. I posted that on Tumblr.
I use it because it's an easy spot to dump like a bunch of writing at once. So for all of my film writing, it like is easy to share it onto other better sites.
Right.
Because I'm not going to post
it's still like
800-word Facebook status, yeah.
Right.
God, that looked
remember
cool,
back
but failed so hard. Jesus Christ.
I know this is gonna date us a little bit, granted, just among certain users. But remember when you and I both used to have blog spots, and that's what we used?
I do. You know, I hear they're still going as well, though. So.
Really? I haven't even checked to see if that's still a thing.
Their format was so plain that I'm sure they can do a lot to change it.
Because I
will
mean,
say, I have
Blogspot's
been
pretty much
using-
become.
I have been using Tumblr a bit more to look at the new Tumblr for Dan Harmon's Community, which is amazing.
So
Because
I'll
Yahoo
be honest.
owns Tumblr,
Yeah.
so their own show gets promoted like crazy. Oh god.
I don't know. I'm in a weird spot with Community. I never finished the previous season. I can't get
finish
myself
season
actually motivated. I once Troy left, so once Donald Glover left, I legitimately stopped caring.
Yeah, see, I
Because
was worried
I-
that was going to be a problem for me, and it ended up not being because they've done a good job of, which I hear is the goal this year, of splitting away from the more outlandish stuff and kind of getting back to that season 1, season 2 mindset of like, here are people in a school, they are funny. That's like the whole thing again. Because I think long before Harmon got fired and season 4 happened, the biggest problem I thought with season 3 is that it was like a string of parodies and spoofs like in a row, which those work because the characters were so great. But once you start losing a Chevy Chase or a Donald Glover, or this season, Yvette Nicole Brown left, like you...
Wait, so who's left in the goddamn show? Is it just Joel McHale at this point?
Joel McHale...
Is it turned into The Soup?
Joel McHale, Allison Brie, Ken Jeong, Danny Pudi, Gillian Jacobs. But you added Keith David, so really, I think we're winning right now.
Wait, what? This shows you how long it's been since it...
No,
Keith David
is
is
a
in-
regular in season 6. He's playing a
Okay.
failed inventor who winds up at Greendale. And in the trailer, which you should watch now that we're talking about this, it's amazing. He's like he's replacing Pierce basically, and Buzz Hickey from last year, if you remember Jonathan Banks' character. But there's some great jokes about him not being anybody's fourth Ghostbuster and like weird references. So it's still gonna have its heart, but Yahoo's just throwing money at the show. So for the first time since season 1, they're filming outside again at the building or at the old campus they used to film at. So it's gonna get back to like when I first really started loving the show, that kind of look. Plus, Keith David's been added. Jim Rash and Nat Faxon directed a couple episodes. Bobcat Goldthwait directed a couple episodes this year, I believe. So Yahoo seems to really love the show, and I've never seen Dan Harmon so excited to be working on it, even when it was still on NBC. So
yeah, wow. I don't know. It's something weird to me about the Arbiter being on this show. Getting back to video games.
Yeah,
I just feel like the entire time it's just gonna the demon.
I'm expecting some jokes from Abed about the Thing. Like, so which one of you was the Thing? Which we all know it was both of them. But yeah, you should watch the trailer. And
damn it!
there's
Now,
some great...
okay. Keith David alone just sold me on going back and trying to give this show a chance. Like, I did not know he was on that show.
Yeah, and I just read a great article on TV Guide, because McHale's on the cover this month, about like how they're starting to fit in at Yahoo, and he told this great story about the person that's basically their boss from Yahoo. The first day she showed up to set, that she like went on this monologue about what their promotional push is going to be. They're going to get trailers in theaters before movies and things. Like, you always see those if you show up before the actual trailers. They're going to have an expensive Emmy campaign and all this stuff. And McHale says they were all just kind of sitting there like in stunned silence because they'd never had anyone tell them they were getting supported before. So they've got this money, new cast members that are actually like going to stick around. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting now.
And it's on Yahoo, so they're not strictly limited to 21 minutes. They're going to try to stick close, they said. And they're not strictly limited by like FCC guidelines for language and stuff. Which again, they said they're not going to push it too far. But
it means that... But yeah.
Based
but
on
I mean, now they can actually make jokes. Yeah.
Yeah, so Dan Harmon said he was really excited that they could use Jesus as like an exclamation now, because he thought it was like a really natural thing. And in the trailer, Jim Rash says Jesus wept like 7 times. It's a whole virtual reality thing. Anyway, I promise you, it's gonna be good. You should go back. And it premieres in about a week and a half.
Speaking of virtual reality, I just still remember the video game episode. When Abed shows off his wife, it's like, yeah, and this is our child together. Oh, what, and I can't give you a child? I can't.
Yeah.
Just to... Oh, and I can't? I can't.
Yeah, so they said there's only one somewhat higher concept thing in the show this year. Although in the trailer, there's some weird thing going on where Joel McHale's like dressed up as a future mayor, which isn't even a reference, I don't think. I think it's just an original thing. And then there's some like Karate Kid spoofs and things. So it's still going to be Community, but it's going to be season 2 Community, aka the best kind.
Yep. Good combination of both crazy and down to earth at the same time.
My biggest concern would be for the 7th season. I'm expecting it to be a reality because Yahoo's already saying they're going to do like Netflix and not release ratings. It's all about how successful it is internally. But everyone's contracts run out after this year.
Oh shit! I'm falling.
I'm
dead.
I've been stuck on the same ramp. I've got 103 faults. You might have to stick to your screen on this level. It's not even an extreme.
I don't know.
Track,
I just
it's
fell
a
off
hard
of a
track.
fucking mountain.
Oh,
Where the fuck am I? Oh, now I know where I am.
this has turned into a train wreck. I was so distracted talking about Community.
But yeah, now I can't believe it. Keith David alone just sold me on that. Speaking of which, I didn't initially want to play Saints Row the 4th or Saints Row 4. I don't remember what's it's 4th.
Yeah.
4, right? It's 4. Yeah.
It's the
so
it's 4.
I didn't want to play Saints Row 4 initially just because of everyone talking about like that essentially all they did was reuse all the elements from 3, that essentially it should have been DLC, but they kind of expanded it into a game and like all this additional talk about yeah. But but from what I keep hearing, that it was actually just really fun and a goof around game. I kind of want to play it, and then somebody also told me, by the way, Keith David is in it, and he plays Keith David.
Yeah,
and
Keith
that
David is
that
your
sentence
vice
was like, yep. And I was just like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I'm waiting just to pick it up at some point, and I'll just sit down and just blow through it probably in like a few days.
The new re-elected version that came out as like the first official thing. Volition has done since they've been rebought by Deep Silver. Basically just throws all of that content together. The funny thing about that being that Saints Row the 4th game was originally supposed to be DLC, but it got too big and they felt bad about like charging $20 and adding on this like 12 gigabyte thing, and then THQ went bankrupt and it was a whole thing and they needed the game, so Saints Row the 4th happened. But they kind of cleverly avoided it just being the same game by basically never having it actually be you and Steelport. It's always some stupid virtual reality situation. It's
even though that it's the exact same city.
It is.
That was it's just I watched a few videos about it, and I'm watching it going, and I only saw the first couple of missions. Like, so I saw the opening cutscene, which was funny, but I was just watching the first couple of missions, and I'm just like, that just looks like Saints Row the 3rd, and then why should I care? And I just moved on, but then I knew about that you would get superpowers. I understood that was gonna be a thing. I just never cared enough because I've never been a huge Saints Row fan. Like, it was fun. It was a goof around game, but
it's always been the lesser of Volition's output. I thought because THQ was in such awful shape, they had no choice but to make those games because they sold well. But when I play tested for Volition, I was always just wanting to get back to like Red Faction, please, more Red Faction.
Yes, very much so. I'm a huge Red Faction fan. In fact, I also bought the original Red Faction and Red Faction 2 for my PC, and I go back and I play those games frequently just because, even back when they were first-person shooters, they were fun.
Yeah, I don't think there's any game that I've spent as much time in the multiplayer of, barring maybe Call of Duty, the first Modern Warfare, because I was 16 and we all make mistakes, as Red Faction, the original, because you could blow holes in the walls and dig tunnels to enemy bases and stuff that nobody's even doing now. I mean, what, 15 years later? So.
By the way, I'm watching two tigers fight each other. Oh, 1-1. All right, I'm gonna kill it with a
Oh,
machine gun.
Yeah, you should stick to your screen there then, because I am still stuck on the same jump at 133 faults. Hey, train. What is? That's not even a train. There's just a weird blue block of light that drives through behind the actual train. Oh, Jesus Christ! I landed on my head. Yeah, just wave your arms.
Oh, what the fuck just happened? I just got attacked by a fucking eagle, and it somehow died. What the fuck just happened? That's what happened. I finally figured out what kills an eagle. A fucking mortar strike.
Yes, they do. Also, you with
Jesus. Yeah, no, not right now. It's not. I am going to die, and I finally was gonna be able to get frickin' tiger skin. Oh, Jesus
a gun.
Christ.
Oh my God. I will make this jump. I swear to God. Maybe if I.
Oh, the poor tigers.
Yep, that's
Maybe
the
if I
key
take
the whole
these.
time. Are you kidding me? I'm an idiot.
Oh,
I
no,
mean,
I died. I got too greedy. Oh, no, I'm not dead yet. Go, 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 go. Try to get this and run. Nope. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking A, people. I just want my fucking tiger.
Why do I keep leaning into this jump? Lean back. Lean back. All right.
All right, maybe
Well-
we should actually focus on talking again instead of just screaming at the screen, because that does not make good for, a podcast.
Says you. You're not seeing
anyway.
this genius footage.
No,
Speaking
but
of NBC
somehow
comedies and how they don't
Yeah.
currently have any on their lineup, the Parks and Rec finale, I know you haven't watched any of the last season, but it was as good of an ending for a sitcom as I've ever seen.
really.
Every character except for one obvious one from season 1 and 2 that didn't want to come back gets a good ending, including a producer's cut that has an ending for Jam that, like, if you know Councilman Jam and his storyline, there's some jokes about Benihana chefs that get paid off so well.
That show is very good about having jokes pay off, even if it's like, if you forget. Like, that and Community were both really good about that.
There's a use of Bobby Pickett's Monster Mash in the finale that's somehow both, like, the funniest thing in the episode and, like, really emotional and, like, satisfying, which I can't imagine I'm saying about the friggin' Monster Mash, but no, it's a perfect finale, and I don't want to talk about it because I know you haven't seen it, but it ending meant that basically the only comedies NBC has right now are, like, Undateable and a bunch of other things that no one watches nor cares about. But they had a show that was supposed to come out from Tina Fey with anyway, it was supposed to go to NBC called Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and Netflix bought the rights when NBC passed on it. And it was so funny yesterday. Well, don't want to date the podcast too much, but this was on a Thursday, so whenever that was. It premiered on Netflix that day, and the same day NBC ended up canceling like 2 more of their shows. So they're dying off, which is kind of fun for me as a person because I've been angry at them since the Conan O'Brien scandal. But yeah, Community's
Fucking
found a new
Eagle.
one that actually cares.
No. Holy shit. How the fuck did I just do that?
I'm gonna fault out of this map. Oh, no I'm not. I'm a genius. Oh yeah! Oh, wait, it's not over.
I
God,
just
15 minutes into this.
I just had like a Twitch shooter moment with a bow and arrow and an eagle, and it worked.
At least you're not 15 minutes into a map. Oh, what am I supposed to do? Go backwards? Oh, go fuck yourself.
Ow, what the fuck just... Oh, fucking dog things.
Are you... Oh, right. I'm an idiot. Go backward. Oh, no! How am I supposed to go backwards enough to... Should I flip onto it? Should I not flip onto it?
Oh, God. They just ran over those people. Damn. Sucks to be them. But
There we go.
yeah.
Holy shit, that was ridiculous. Yeah, seriously, you might just want to stick to your screen. I could just end a capture at any moment and save everyone some pain.
No, there's definitely some moments I would like to be able to cut away from.
I know your troubles with Eagles are becoming legendary.
So yeah, I'm trying to
You
think
were
of what else
complaining
was been going. Oh,
about Eagles like a week and a half ago, weren't you?
yep.
Yeah. You're the only person I know that's struggled with Eagles in that game.
No, Eagles are fucking terrible. I don't care who you are. These Eagles are
no.
fucking terrible.
Rhinos are terrible. Everything else is just annoying.
I've had no trouble with rhinos. I
it.
just killed those motherfuckers.
Let me just say, 16 minutes, 49 seconds, and 196 faults. That's good for a bronze medal.
Damn.
Of course, everything's good for a bronze medal, but
Yeah, it's
God,
the
that was
participation. Yeah,
it's like
participation
playing Little
medal. Yep. Thank you for showing up. You struck out 4 times, cried in the bleachers, and got hit with the baseball. But you know what? Here's your medal.
League. Oh, what the I have to wheelie over a bar to start the level? Oh, go to hell. What? What did I do? Oh, God. I'm in bad shape. Just do a front flip. No, that's your face into a wall. I said do a front flip. All right. Now we're talking.
Oh, so going back to previously what you were talking about with like Parks and Rec and shows like that, it's one of those shows that I know I'm excited to go back and watch. It's so weird. It's trying to go back and watch it because this is their second series finale season. So it's weird already, severing those those connections and now going back to it.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
I've already, in my mind, it's done, but I have to keep telling myself, no, it's not. I have to go back and now watch this other season.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the only true series finale, right?
Well, let's be honest. Look at how NBC has been handling all their stuff. When they told them that they were pretty much done before, they had to wrap it up that way.
Well, that's the thing. There have been like 2 or 3 seasons that like had an ending, like just in case, which is how Community has ended every single one of its seasons.
Yeah, which I
was, like,
really feel
just
bad. I
in
could
case.
never be a
Yeah, I
writer
don't
for
know how
that
anyone
show
works
just
under
because.
that, yeah. I can't get past the starting line of this episode, this level.
Episode.
I've been thinking about TV. I've finally gone back and started watching shows I've been meaning to get to forever. Like now that Boardwalk
So have
Empire's
I.
done, I bought up every Blu-ray of Boardwalk Empire, and I'm currently trying to dig through that, and it's been great. It's a gangster show with Steve Buscemi. You can't really go wrong.
I have been going back
And
finally getting around to watching Sherlock.
oh, Sherlock's, yeah. I'm excited
Yeah,
that they have a special at least this year, because it's been so long since the new episode.
Yeah, okay, so right now I just got to season 2, so I watched the first 3 episodes. And oh my god, I knew it was on my list for a reason, and I know everyone told me like you like Martin Freeman, you like, freaking wow, how did I just forget his name? Jesus Christ.
You forgot
Benedict
the most
Cumberbatch.
memorable
The most
name in the
memorable
world.
name. I just had a freaking I didn't want to have a John Travolta moment though. So, although John Travolta moments now are uncomfortably rubbing a woman's face until she wants to sue you. But,
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure. Yeah, but you forgot the name of Benedict
Dunderdatch. Yeah. Or what was that joke saying, like, Benedict Cumberbatch, or how John Travolta tries to pronounce Ben Affleck? I think that was the joke they made at freaking Oscars.
Sorry, I just had to take a second. My computer's sitting on a cooling pad, and I'm pretty sure it just like started eating a piece of cloth, and I had to like rip it out. So I missed about the last 10 seconds.
Oh, I was just talking about the Oscars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that I don't know.
were
I don't know
pretty
how I felt
good,
about
by
the
the way.
Oscars. I don't know how I felt about it. I enjoyed a
the
lot of it, but
ceremony
then some of the
itself
jokes
was
they
awful.
ruined. Yeah.
Well, the ceremony wasn't great. I was just happy with the actual outcome of awards and things.
I mean,
Usually I'm
I'll
not,
I'll
so
be honest.
it's
The
a nice change.
opening musical number from freaking Neil Patrick Harris and Jack Black and wow, I'm just doing really horrible with names tonight. Anna Kendrick.
Mhm.
I enjoyed it because I was immediately realizing I had to go back and watch Dr. Horrible sing-along blog. But
I had that same
apart
thought,
from
yeah.
that, yeah, that immediately just went, all right, I need to go rewatch this.
The running
But-
joke with like Neil Patrick Harris's prediction box was like the least
That was so bad.
successful joke I've ever seen, but it got
Yeah, that
more
was so-
screen time than any
Anything
other
else.
gig. Or like it was ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know. That it's just I don't like watching the Oscars in general, just most of the time because the awards I feel like don't go to the right places. It's all like everyone goes, "Oh, it's all politics." Yeah, it kind of is, you know. So I just get annoyed
Yeah.
with it just cuz I know
was
that
really
they're
happy
even
that Inarritu and his speech at the end, like, basically said it's ridiculous to give awards to things, because you're
Yep.
comparing, like, apples to rocks, basically. Which it doesn't mean as much when you're holding an award saying that, but the fact that
You're
you did it
right.
on such a big stage. But I was
they
just
did it on a
happy
big
'cause that was-
stage on the last award they got.
yeah, it was literally the biggest one of the night.
Although, speaking of which, one, who the fuck thought it was a good idea to close out the night with Sean Penn? Like, I understand he's a good actor and everything like that, but Jesus Christ, like, you had all these charismatic people leading up to that, and they're like,
Now,
who
hold
could
on
we
a
get?
second.
Let's get the
Everybody was
crotchety old...
Here's the thing. What a lot of people lost in context there was Inarritu made a movie called 21 Grams quite a while back that's really good, but Sean Penn stars in, and they're like really, really
Yes.
good friends. So
No,
he
no, no,
makes a-
I didn't get to that. I wasn't getting to that. No, no,
makes
no,
a
trust
really
me, the...
silly in joke,
racist,
but yeah,
if
he
he-
had
yes.
no, he had no charisma going on at all. But
that was
Sean
my
Penn.
issue.
Yeah.
Right. That was my issue. I didn't give a shit about the comment because I knew kind of where the context of where that was coming from. But it was the fact that it was like we're going through the whole night going, we have Chris Evans, Matthew McConaughey, all this stuff. And to close out the night with the biggest award, here's Sean Penn.
Yeah.
And he
it's-
just
it's a
walks out
weird
on the
thing
stage
because
and
you have a
talks
choice.
like this.
I understand you want somebody acclaimed. That makes sense. But, like, everyone there, you could have used, like, you'd already used Meryl
Yes.
Streep. But, like, let her do it, for God's sake.
Even then, Matthew McConaughey. That would have been like a fine way to end out the night too. Speaking of which, like,
Well-
does that man just go insane when he's not actually acting? With like,
No, he's
he,
great.
Like, pulled,
He's-
he's trying to be Jared Leto. He's trying to be Jared Leto with his hair and beard and all that other shit.
Did you see Jared Leto yesterday?
I haven't seen the picture since. And speaking of which, now we get to go to talk about this.
Yeah.
Jared
so
Leto
his,
cutting his hair for Suicide Squad.
His hair is short. Oh, thank God, I finally made it over the first jump in this level. It's super short. It's platinum blonde, so it can be a base for the crazy green of the Joker, and he looks like 25. Like, he looks so young now, which is ridiculous for a 40-year-old.
Okay.
But
Yeah, him and Adam Levine are like the two luckiest men in the history of mankind.
Pharrell,
Like, they're men
you
that.
gonna throw Pharrell into there. Pharrell's 42.
Oh yeah, that's also true. I forgot.
No, so yeah, I'm really excited about Suicide Squad. David Ayer's always been pretty consistently good at gritty stuff. I'm just intrigued to see if they let them go gritty with it. I like the cast except for Will Smith. Will Smith just annoys me at this point. He's too about Will Smith. But I think he's purposely trying to break out of that, so
Oops.
we'll see what happens.
I
But
just accidentally accepted a mission without realizing it. Oops. Oh well. Anyway, but I have no idea what I'm going to end up doing, but I'll probably do it. But anyway, yeah, I don't like Will Smith at this point. Like, I honestly don't think I've liked him really in anything other than... I'm trying to think through the last few years. Like, what has he been in? I can't think of something that I actually liked 100%. Because there are parts of, like... It's like... I think back, it's like... You have movies like Hitch, which are kind of like the... Okay, well, that wasn't terrible kind of movies. Like, it was a fun watch.
it's like
whatever,
filler,
move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you have movies like, what is it, Hancock?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the, yeah, where you watch it the
superhero
first
one,
time, you're like, Yeah, it's like that was kind of funny. Had a really shitty falling apart story near the end, but it wasn't that bad. But then again, I think back and I remember Charlize Theron and Jason Bateman in that movie more than I remember Will Smith, and
Yeah,
they
and
were
I think
side characters.
What happened to him was he had that kind of like 1-2 punch of Pursuit of Happiness and 7 Pounds, where I think he like legitimately expected to suddenly be like the big Academy Award winning serious guy that everybody looked to for drama, and it just didn't happen. So he like that, and he was simultaneously trying to push his kids to like becoming stars, which they personally kind of rejected. So like they're just not very good. Like his daughter flat out said no to doing Annie, which I thought was amazing. But he just seemed to dig into this rut of I'm Will Smith. I'm not going to do Independence Day 2. I don't care how much money you give me. So I think he's finally wisening up and trying to get out of that. But I'm excited for Suicide Squad. Leto's going to be a great Joker, I think. He's always been turning in solid performances, and he's never got a good showcase like that before.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie
Could say effect, but
Harley Quinn. That's going to be great.
yeah. I still feel bad that my favorite Jared Leto performance is him getting killed.
I don't know if that's my favorite Jared Leto performance. It's my favorite Jared Leto moment because of how good Christian Bale is.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always kind of felt bad about that, where it's just like thinking back of his acting career, and I know he's done some great performances, great roles, and things like that, but I always just remember him getting his ass handed to him by Christian Bale with an axe.
Yeah, that should tell you how old Leto is, though, because that movie is a full what? This will be 16 years. Was it 99 or 2000?
Yeah. Wow, holy shit.
And he looks the same.
Yeah, that is. Okay, I want to point out
Christ.
that man was playing.
I'm struggling.
Yeah, this man has been playing a teenager. Like, started playing one at like what, age 25?
Probably, yeah.
That was like. I can't remember what his first
he
show
played
was,
adults
but
every once in a while, like Requiem for a Dream and stuff.
right. But I meant like his first like TV like debut. He was playing at like a 16-year-old or something like that, wasn't he? And he at the time was like 25. Like that's not fair on any level because he actually looked like it.
He's just got one of those faces. But I mean, he really does. Like the picture he posted of him with his new hair and everything, he looks that young still. Oh my God, this is not going well. Hey, robot.
Yeah, I'm
tone it
just
down. Holy crap.
And I'm gonna die. Yep, I died. Oh well.
Oh,
I don't like
thought
this
I had
mission.
That's not gonna go well.
Abandoned quest. Are you sure you? Yes. I'm trying to think through else. Yeah. So we also have essentially what is DC trying to do what Marvel did with this whole Superman, Batman going through this Justice League.
Shared universe, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I just,
from
well,
what I'm
I'll be
hearing-
perfectly honest. I just don't care. I think it's mostly because, like, looking, like, when I was growing up and I was thinking about comic book characters and things like that, most of the characters I knew, granted, apart from things like Superman and Batman, which were just staples that everyone knew who they were regardless, I feel like I lean more Marvel anyway, and I never read the comics or anything like that. I knew more of those characters. So when the Marvel movies started taking off and they found, like Marvel and Disney kind of really figured out how to capitalize on this and pull everything together, I think they just did a really good job. And now, I guess in this way, DC's kind of like the Samsung to Apple, trying to recapture that, trying to get that same market that another person's already established.
They are absolutely like trying to capitalize on it, and that's, I mean, there's no arguing that. But it's getting really blown out of proportion from everything I've heard from Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck and all of them. Like, this Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, awful title. Like, even down to the title being called Dawn of Justice, they're saying that most of these roles are like really tiny cameos. They really are like trying to just lay the foundation. But because there's so much media attention now, because of the way Marvel's done things and everyone expects it, that it feels like they're just trying to force it all at once when that might not actually be the case. And I was the same way. I really liked Marvel as a kid more than DC, but at least I read the DC stuff all the time. So I'm excited about Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I think is just a genius, and there's all these smart little things happening that are getting overshadowed by the fact that they're trying to put 30 people in one movie. But I just feel like the movie's gonna turn out alright. Like, Zack Snyder's, say what you will about Man of Steel and how everyone's biggest complaint being that Superman killed all these people, but like that's what this movie's about, so that makes sense as like setting up the stakes. I think it's gonna turn out alright once the media attention like dies off of it. So once summer gets rolling and you've got all of the Marvel movies and more Star Wars previews and everybody shuts up about it for a while, I think people will start to get more excited.
I'm not sure how. Like I said, I've never been that big into DC. In fact, I'll be honest, I think Superman was always the most overrated superhero of all time, just because I thought it was stupid that he can do everything. I mean, granted, he's an alien, and being here on Earth,
he's a victim of when he was created. The world,
right, which I understand.
Like that in 1939, yeah.
Correct, right. It's just I've never been a big fan of Superman ever. He's actually been my least favorite comic book person ever.
I was in that same boat, but I really liked Man of Steel. I liked the score. I liked the aesthetic of it. The cast, Lawrence Fishburne,
I'll
and
say
Amy
this.
Adams, and those people did really good background work. Michael Shannon is a god. So
yes, I like the movie to an extent. I don't like it as let's put it this way. I like it as a movie looking back from like just the way it was done and how it was portrayed, all this other stuff. Yes, I like that. Was I looking forward to another Superman origin story? No. Did I care enough about Superman to actually like the movie? No. Did I look at it more like I watched that movie mostly going, this is a really cool sci-fi-esque movie with Michael Shannon doing a fantastic fucking job. Oh wait, there's a superhero guy. You know what? I'm just going to ignore him. That was kind of like how I went through that, because it looked beautiful, it was gritty, which that was Snyder doing his own thing, but also it kind of did feel like he was trying to go the Christopher Nolan route of that as well, going a little bit darker with his superhero.
Well, it's kind of hard to go away from that when Christopher Nolan and his brother are the ones that like wrote the synopsis,
Right. No, right.
I appreciate Snyder's take on superhero movies, which is that he doesn't want to make the same superhero movie as everyone else. So I like that he's branching out. I think it's going to struggle to fit in once you have a bunch of people, and he'll probably not make that many more. But yeah, he made me interested in Superman for the first time, which I thought was a heck of an accomplishment.
I'm going to ride an elephant now. Superman can suck my ass.
152 votes. Let's just ignore this happened.
No, I just don't care enough. I'll see Dawn of Justice at some point. I mean, I know everyone to an extent has their feelings about Ben Affleck and stuff like that. I know he's gonna do a fine job at being Batman, but I'll be honest, I just do not care. I really don't. I'll watch it. I know I'm going to watch this movie, but it's just, at the end of the day, I know that I'm not a big fan of Ben Affleck. I don't really care. I don't know what it is about him, but I just never will like him. Yeah. But then again, granted, if he is Batman, I won't have to stare at his face. No, I'm from the Northeast, and I don't give a shit. I just don't want to... I just don't care. I've never cared.
I've been pretty excited about him getting cast, mostly because I hope that he'll get to like direct his own movie, because that's definitely where he's at his best. But once the attention goes away and everyone's shut up about it for a while, I bet it turns out surprising everyone. Oh god. But I mean, who cares when Spider-Man's joining Marvel, right?
Oh my god, I am excited about him finally coming over. I just like that the way that it came off to everyone was that essentially Disney just went to Sony and was just like, hey, so we kind of need Superman for our next movie. We really do need him, and we really appreciate... Yeah, what did I say? Did I say Superman? Jesus Christ. Anyway, we really need Spider-Man for our next movie. We really do need him. And here's the thing. I know you have them, and you guys have been doing a wonderful time. I mean, an absolute wonderful job. I mean, there was the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I mean, yeah. So, you know what? If you just let us have them, here's a little bit of money, and they just slid them a ton of money across the table. Here's just a little bit of money. We'll give you a percentage as well if you just look the other way and keep your mouth shut. Okay?
And here's the,
Disney also...
That's the problem with this whole thing is that talk about like Superman having too many origin stories. For the love of God, Spider-Man's been done, 10,000 times.
Yep.
And Raimi did it fine the first time, and then Sony screwed it up then and had to start over. And I kind of feel a little bit bad for Andrew Garfield, just because I think he was a really solid choice and he did a good job, and it just never kind of materialized around him. So fingers crossed for Miles Morales instead of Peter Parker, although I doubt they do it. But yeah, I love the press releases and things all like giving the credit to Sony and saying like, oh yeah, Marvel's teaming up with Sony to make sure this happens, and Sony gets final choice on costume and final choice on casting and all this stuff. But then if you like get into the fine details, like right now it looks like Drew Goddard's gonna be the guy to run the next movie, and it's like, well, Drew Goddard's Joss Whedon's like understudy. That's his guy.
Right.
So like Marvel's clearly in control and just trying to like let Sony save face a little bit, which they deserve to save a little bit.
Right. You know this is them just saying.
But
yeah.
it's
like,
just, hey, sorry guys, we'll be okay.
I did not like the new Amazing Spider-Man movies. I really did not.
There are parts of them that I really like.
They seem so like Sony was trying so goddamn hard to be Disney with those movies, in the sense that they were like, how much money can we throw at this? And instead of trying to make them look good, they just wanted to make them look expensive.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. They felt like they were trying to
where they could have like multiple characters getting their own movies within the Spider-Man universe, and it just never made sense.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I just really
Garfield
did not care about
good.
I didn't. Yeah,
Emma
he was.
Stone
I will
Gwen,
give him that.
Gwen Stacy's genius, and they did such good things with that story, and it was just bogged down by this like weird Osborn story and this made-up parents nonsense that's kind of from Marvel Ultimate, but not really.
Yeah.
It felt like Marvel was finally like, okay, enough. We'll let you publish these movies. You can get some decisions here and there, but like, he's coming back to us, and we'll let you use 2 of our characters in your next movie, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just.
Oh Jesus Christ! I just got smashed by a
that
robot. Oh, Christ Almighty! He got me again.
Ah, fucking eagle!
How am I supposed to do this?
Also, wait, what the fuck? Okay, so I had to do the heal thing, and I had to pop a bullet out of my arm, and somehow, so apparently the eagle shot me?
Yeah, that's.
What the hell?
I hate that. That's the one thing about the game, that they reuse those animations so much that you'd like fall down a cliff, and then he'd suddenly be pulling sticks out of his arm to, yeah.
But, yeah, so I don't know. Well, I'm excited about what Marvel's gonna do with that. I've just, even though I've never read the comics, I knew just from people that have, they kept telling me over and over again that the fact that they were doing Civil War was stupid, just because they're like, they don't have Spider-Man, they can't do Civil War right.
Well,
and I just kept saying over and over again, I'm like, I kept telling them over and over again, it's Disney, they can buy themselves out of any lawsuit. They're gonna put them in there. If they really need them, they will buy their way out no matter what.
And here's the thing, he's still not a part of the Civil War movie. Like, he's absolutely not going to be. Like, they're gonna do the same thing they did with Ultron and the same thing they did with pretty much all the movies so far, and just take the pieces they want to use and use them. Because right now the cast list for Civil War is, of course, Evans, and then Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner was confirmed today, Anthony Mackie is Falcon. So there's all of these characters. There's no room for Spider-Man the way he was used. But even the latest Avengers trailer, they have Stark and Steve Rogers starting to like argue, and that's what they're going to use instead of the full arc of it. So Spidey will
Right.
show up. That's still my guess for when he gets his cameo. But I don't think he's going to be in it
Yeah.
for more than 30 seconds, no matter what.
Oh yeah, same here. I want to bet that Spider-Man is going to make his first appearance in a Marvel movie in Age of Ultron. Not in the actual movie,
Yeah.
not in the movie itself. The post-credit scene.
Yeah, there'll be. I think we'll get. I don't think we'll get him like a stuntman in costume or anything like a lot of people were guessing.
No,
I think
no,
there'll
no.
just be a conversation about it.
Yeah, they're going to be talking about some guy out of New York City doing something.
I kind of hope they put it in Ant-Man because I think Ant-Man's being woefully underestimated. It's going to be really solid.
that was like the most softball in Marvel thing I've ever seen. They're like, oh, by the way, Ant-Man's out. Yeah, whatever.
Well, they're
And it was just
trying to not lean too hard into it until after the Avengers because people are still upset about the Edgar Wright thing. But as much as I love
I'm
Edgar
still
Wright,
upset about the Edgar Wright thing.
as much as I love Edgar Wright, like he had to go. Like the conversations that were had were strictly about how his movie tied into the universe, and he didn't want to do the big ties. So when he started writing that in 2005, like pre-Iron Man,
Right.
it made sense for it to not be connected. But he couldn't, in his mind, disconnect what he was doing to like add on all these other pieces. So it just didn't make sense. I'd rather he gets to make something original than get stuck making a movie he didn't want to make. So everyone's still mad
is
about,
true.
oh, this genius doesn't get to make it. Which, yeah, Edgar Wright's a friggin' genius, but
No, well, it wasn't the fact that I felt like he was getting completely screwed out of his movie. It kind of sucked for him that they finally threw money at him, and then they were like, "Oh, by the way, dot." It was more of the fact that on a visual level, on an effects level, and on a tonal level, I think he would have done that so much justice that it would have been worth it. But the only
Yeah.
problem is now we're not going to be able to see that it's going to be another's, which
And the
I
thing
still.
is,
I just want to see
judging
it
from
just
the
because
first
of,
trailer for Ant-Man, like visually, it's got more of the effects tone, like coloration and everything of Guardians, which is a clever move.
yep.
But the
Well,
story's
they
just
kind of
so
have
damn
to because
cool.
they're-
I just can't imagine it being a failure. They've got too much risk in it at this point. But they're gonna play it safe until Avengers is out, which is smart. I think it's gonna be not quite the scale of Guardians because that was an
oh shit.
unbelievable hit. But I bet it's a big, big success for him.
I love how you and I talked about Guardians of the Galaxy before it came out, and we were talking about how big it was going to be and how awesome it was going to be, and it was the precursor to proving that Disney can handle things like Star Wars and all this other stuff, and
Yeah.
nobody
And
else
it was
really
cool
would listen
for
to
us
us.
because I had it from like the comics perspective because I knew the comic, and you
Yeah.
just knew like James Gunn first of all, and then Chris Pratt and like the
Yeah.
cast they were putting together. You could just tell something was up. So like those things combined so perfectly, and we were right.
And
I
I
think
would-
American Sniper
yeah.
passed it this week for American Sniper and Hunger Games for like biggest grossing movies of 2014, but it didn't need to be number one to be like the number one success story
Yeah.
because it's just an amazing
Although-
turnaround.
I do want to point out, and I know that there are going to be people that piss and moan about this, but I remember when I was watching the Oscars, because I actually went to a movie theater that a local indie theater that was actually putting it on. It was like a little charity event, so I got to go there, have a few drinks, watch it, and I was there and listening to people talk about the movie and stuff like that. It was nice to be around people that when they said, "What do you think should win?" and I brought up other movies that weren't American Sniper, that I wasn't immediately ridiculed saying I was un-American for not picking that movie.
Yeah, I love Clint Eastwood. I kind of like the way he did American Sniper in that he did make it more of like you could root for like this guy despite his issues. Like he focused on that instead of just being, yeah, he's shooting people. But because it is so patriotic, like it never had a chance of not being hated by a lot of people critically, and then also making a bunch of money from people who would then complain that it wasn't winning. So it had
Yeah.
no shot from the beginning.
It was just one of those things where people said that essentially they're like,
Damn it!
I remember one of the
freaking robot
first
crushed me.
one of the first comments I saw after the Oscars, and I saw this on Facebook, and I'm not going to say who it was, but it was somebody, a mutual of us that we both know. I almost unfriended them because their response was pretty much saying that, oh, of course, in the and they phrase it this way. Of course, in the American Filmmaking Awards, you know, and I'm like, well, that's not the American Filmmaking Awards. That's not what the Oscars are. It's filmmaking in general. But they're like, in the American Filmmaking Awards, a Mexican beats out an American. This is an unjust thing. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I don't know who posted that. It's probably somebody I've unfollowed, which is numerous.
You
people,
actually
you
probably actually most likely have. If you're still friends with this person, you most likely have. It's somebody from our college days.
But yeah, it was such a weird thing. Everybody was like, "Oh, of course Hollywood didn't give American Sniper the award because it's so patriotic." Hollywood made American Sniper. Like that's a big
that
budget,
was another
big
comment I
studio
saw
movie.
lots of.
Birdman, independent, made by a Mexican. Super cynical. I mean, it's like a
Cynical,
both at the
so-
same time
yeah,
a pro actor.
that's what I keep hearing.
And anti-actor movie, and it's super anti-Hollywood. I mean, it's against commercialism and everything they stand for. So I was excited that enough people agreed to let it win. Plus, it's just a goddamn great movie.
I still have to see it, and that local theater was that actually brought it back because it won.
Yeah,
and
it's playing
I'm
here
gonna
right
finally
now.
get to go see it.
I own it on Blu-ray, and I keep thinking maybe I'll just go see it again anyway. I felt bad for Richard Linklater. Boyhood's brilliant, but it just came out too early and lost momentum. Because, I mean, it is politics, like you mentioned a long time ago.
Yeah, it's just
I'm going to beat this level, man. I'm going to beat it. I can do this.
Well,
I can't do
I mean,
this.
I understand that they have their guidelines, their rules about what can win and why it can win and all this other stuff. And I know that there's like, oh, it must be this aspect ratio, it must be at this frame rate. I understand that kind of stuff. But one thing I've always been annoyed by is that, like, I mean, there have been some, like, even example, like horror movies that have come out that have got some of the best narrative written things I've seen in a long time. They will never even get an eye batted at them because of their genre, and they'll always find some.
That's what happened this year with Guardians. Won a bunch of awards from like art director academies and like special effects things. But then when it came time for the big awards, like the people that had praised its art direction and set decoration and costume and makeup, like those aren't the people that vote on the Oscars. So it got totally ignored. It didn't even get nominated for some of those things.
I think it was just special effects, and it won. Wasn't it? Wasn't it special effects, and they ended up winning?
Interstellar got special effects this year. They
No,
didn't
no,
even
no,
get the
yeah,
special
that was-
effects, yeah. Which
No.
Interstellar I loved. I'm like one of the world's biggest fans of Interstellar. The things that other people hated about it were the exact things that I loved. So
Right.
in my mind, it should have won a lot more than it did. But yeah, but there's just been this weird thing where Interstellar won Best Special Effects, and they are glorious. But like over Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which is revolutionary, makes no sense. So the
Yeah.
Academy Awards are never going to be perfect, but that's why I was happy that I agreed with most of the things, at least. I would have liked to see
Oh, it was
more go
funny.
to Boyhood.
Yeah.
The best actor
because
going
that
to
was-
Eddie Redmayne was deserved. I mean, if you've seen Theory of Everything, he's brilliant. But I agreed with enough
I
of
have
the
been
big
told-
ones to not be angry.
Yeah. It was funny because before that, before the actual, screening of the Oscars and everything like that at the theater, some people were going around just asking what everyone thought, who should win, what do you think was like the biggest ripoff, and they're going through, and I'm listening to what other people
Lego
said,
Movie?
and they're like mentioning. Well, yes, apart from the Lego Movie, which I did bring up as well to these people, which they looked at me funny for a moment. I'm like, no, seriously, I'm not joking. The Lego
It's
Movie definitely should.
legitimately the most creative movie that came out last year. And I think, honestly, I don't want to spoil the Lego Movie, but you know the parts that I'm talking about. They thought it didn't fit the category or something. That's my guess.
Yeah, well, you know that they nitpicked that part, and they said,
Yeah, they were like,
therefore,
well,
it does
that
not
doesn't
fit.
count. Yeah.
Which is just absolute.
Going back to
Bullshit.
Community, Dan Harmon's good friend Rob Schraub, who had helped him make Heat Vision and Jack way back when with Jack Black. Rob Schraub is getting his first directorial credit on Lego Movie 2, so good for him. He's a cool guy.
Nice. God,
They,
Charlie
him
Day.
and Harmon co-wrote Monster House, which is, of course, genius.
Yeah. Which is, I love Monster House.
Speaking of Charlie Day, I just watched Horrible Bosses 2 before this podcast, and it's as good as
Oh,
the
yeah?
first one. So if you like the first one, you'll
Okay.
like it. If you didn't, suck a dick.
All right, guess I'll have to go see it. That was what I heard. It's just one of those
God
things that has been on my
damn it.
list.
I'm going to beat this level. I'm at 378 falls.
I'm trying to think.
Oh,
What
I got it,
was I saying?
I got it! Yes! Oh,
Yay.
yeah.
What was I
I'm
saying
sweating.
before this?
I'm literally sweating.
What was I saying before this? Like, oh yeah, biggest like things I thought was like a biggest ripoff that somebody didn't get anything, and people looked at me funny when I brought this up in the theater when they asked me, and I said, "Who do you think got completely snubbed this year?" And other people were like mentioning all these indie films and stuff like that, and I'm like, nobody's even heard of that movie. I mean, I'm sure it probably looked nice and it was well written for an indie movie, but nobody knows what that is. My response,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, best actor should have gone to freaking wow. I'm
Andy
just
Serkis?
really terrible.
I know where you're going.
Andy Serkis. Yeah, I'm like,
Right?
Andy Serkis should have
Yeah.
won. And then they went, who? And I'm like, Andy Serkis. And they're like, yeah, we don't know who that is. And I'm like, Andy Serkis is, Planet
You
of
know
the
who he
Apes,
is. You
played
just don't know
Caesar.
that you know who he is.
And they're like, why do you think he should have won? He was in a suit. I'm like,
No, he wasn't.
he did all the facial expressions.
did the
He got
work,
you to
yeah.
care about an animated monkey.
Yeah, and I think
I'm
a time is
sorry.
going to have to come when those movies are going to get the recognition, because that's becoming more and more a part of film. That it'll just happen. You got to think right now. The average Oscar voter is over 60 white males. It's like a huge percentage of their voters. So
Yeah.
they're so stuck in the old ways that they don't understand that what WUTI did with Rise and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was industry shattering. It's important. The other special effects guys, I think, realized it. So a lot of the special effects people in the business, their Twitter accounts were like, "Congrats to Interstellar, it looked gorgeous," but I don't think anybody would argue that it's better than Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Just on an importance factor, WUTI's
Right.
creating things that everyone else is now using to make their movies. It's like Harryhausen's use of stop motion leading into Dick Smith and Baker and all the great guys getting into the makeup stuff. It's so important, but nobody realizes it's important yet.
Yeah. It's, my goodness, though, that,
Oh, lava! Holy shit!
it's just, I was just mad that he's not going to get the recognition he deserves for this part of his career. And I think it's funny when I talk to people, when they ask me,
it's gonna be one of those
Yeah.
sad situations where once his career's over, people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, maybe he was kind of important." Yeah.
well, I think it's funny when people ask me, it's like, well, what has he been in? And I'm like, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Godzilla. Oh, when he was in Godzilla, he was Godzilla.
Sort of.
Wait,
he gave
what?
references to Godzilla, King Kong,
there's-
Gollum,
Yeah,
endless
and
things that he's done.
And then there's it's funny listening to people get confused about that, and they're like, well, Godzilla was just a big, huge, CG thing, and I'm like, yeah,
Who
but
gave it
did
the
you not
reference
notice
to
this?
move that way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the way that it moves, and on top of that, look at there are parts where there are facial expressions, and you're looking at them
Yeah.
they used him as a reference for that.
And that's what's amazing to me about what he does is that he can do the full mocap suit like he does in the Apes movies, or he can do like he did on Godzilla, where he just comes in for a few days and says it should move like this. You've got to get more focus on its face and give some examples. So even without doing the full suit, he's set that character to be what it is. He's just ridiculously underappreciated. Yeah.
And then on top of that, you get moments like King Kong, where still nobody to this day really realizes that was done by a person.
Yeah. That's why when I first heard that he had started to work with Mark Ruffalo a bit about the Hulk, I got excited, which I already thought they'd kind of finally given the Hulk his due in the first Avengers, but now he's going to have a little bit better motion because he taught Ruffalo how to use that. And then they're like, hey, Circus, how about you also play a character for us? So at least the nerds
Yeah.
like Whedon know what he is and what he does. Speaking of which, the character he plays, Ulysses Claw, is going to be super important. So people might finally learn who he is.
Good.
I doubt it.
But yeah,
Christ
he's
almighty.
he's one of those people that I really want to finally get recognized for the work that he does.
His
and-
live action stuff's good too. It's just that it's so indie that nobody knows about it.
Yeah. Like Burke and Hare.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just went, what? Like the
Burke
old
and
one?
Hare?
No.
No. You know what's most crushing about that situation is that ever since the Twilight Zone debacle, that I won't talk about here because it's just been so said and done on the internet with John Landis and what happened, where Landis'
Yeah.
career ended and he's stuck doing something like Burke and Hare that no one will ever see. Like, the man made the goddamn Blues Brothers, an American Werewolf in
And
London,
Animal House.
Animal House. He's a legend that can't work properly anymore. So there's a lot of people like that in
Yeah.
Hollywood that don't get the recognition, but everyone that knows anything like understands what happens. Apparently,
Ooh, I just
I
got
beat
an
the
achievement.
level, but
And I just got an achievement.
Oh, good work.
Yay. I thought I turned notifications off, but apparently I didn't. I hear a tiger.
All right.
Oh, look, a tiger. But
Was
anyway,
there, anything else we needed to get to? I know Alien was our big focus, and that kind of actually led into an hour of conversation, which is pretty good.
yeah. I mean, apart from that, oh shit! I just unleashed the tiger. Other than that, I can't really think of anything.
I
phew! I
would
just
wanna
killed the
mention
tiger.
That if you like music, 2015 has been amazing so far. I mean, not the kind of bands you usually listen to, I'm sure, but we've already had new Decemberists, new Punch Brothers, new Modest Mouse, and new Sufjan Stevens. Like, it's a ridiculous year for music. So I'm having a good time.
I got a chance to listen to the Decemberists, and I was quite impressed with it because it's not like anything they've done before, and I still loved it.
It's a weird mix of their early stuff finally coming back in like a little bit, but then more of the King is Dead like Americana stuff, which is cool. But
Yeah.
music's one of those things that you can't really talk about without just listening to it. So I'll just
Yeah.
say it's been a good year. It's better than 2014, and there's a new album from The Sword being recorded next week. So
All right. So this has been that first WUTI podcast
God!
show.
Oh, Jesus Christ, his head's underground. Oh, dance. Yeah, it's been the first
And
real
and
WUTI anything for a while.
yeah, I mean, I put before this is out. There's been a video posted on the channel about it's me playing in GTA. We have this one. There'll be some other videos coming out in the
he's on
upcoming week as
fire.
well. So yeah, expect more of
like a
this
Muppet.
and more
Without its
videos.
master. Goodbye.